welcome to Off Topic with Tim and Matt, our scrappy, pugnacious sports podcast, where we always go off topic. Okay. Before we start, comment, like, and subscribe. We want to hear from you. We're going to talk Major League Baseball. Now, legal sports betting, there's something called a parlay. So if you had bet in May that the Toronto Blue Jays and the LA Dodgers were going to be in the World Series, you'd probably be making okay dough.
Yeah.
If you parlayed, which is a bet that you attach to your bet that you only connect if the first bet wins, and the second bet's that there's two guys in the middle of nowhere. One's a Jays fan, one's a Dodger fan that have a podcast, and their two teams are in the World Series. You'd be taking early retirement right now because this is like the odds of this happening are.
and you look at it though, like the Dodgers, we knew were going to be there.
Yeah,
everybody
they're built to win. They're built to win.
They're the reigning World Series champions, 2024. You knew they were going to be there. They're the evil empire. They're the juggernaut. They're the team that everybody is saying ruining baseball.
Yeah,
right.
Which they aren't.
They're not. We'll get into that later.
Yeah,
but. You know, the Dodgers were expected to be there. And people talk about how the Dodgers are winning these series and quietly just tipping their hat and walking off the field.
Yeah.
Right? And how there's no enthusiasm to it. Well, the Dodgers knew they needed to make it to the World Series.
Yeah.
The way they were built, the way everything was expected that they would be here. Throughout the season, they called people up. They gave people breaks. They kept people put people on the injured list to give them some rest, heal up bumps and bruises. Come September, they won 15 out of the last 20. They walked through the wild card. They walked through the divisional. They walked through the championship. They're where they're supposed to be in the World Series. On the other hand, we have the Blue Jays, who even their number one supporter, Tim Amy, was poo-pooing them having any chance in May.
Look, they finished dead last in their division last year. They got the 11th overall pick with JoJo Parker.
We had a series called Blue Jays Suck, where Tim told us how bad they were.
There were games they left 13 players on the base, running the scores. Like they couldn't score a run last season to save their lives. Something happened this year, and I don't know what it is, but suddenly everyone's hitting when they're supposed to be hitting, and it's clutch, and it's gotten to the World Series. Their pitching has been superb. But at the same time, I mean, they put up 11 runs on
the Dodgers.
The Dodgers on Friday.
Yeah,
like they just 6th inning. They just started. They got Addison Barger, who started the season in AAA, hits a grand slam, the first ever pinch hit grand slam in World Series history by some guy that most people haven't even heard of. So I don't know. I don't know what they did that's different. I honestly don't know. I mean, I know what's happening that's different, but I don't know what happened in the clubhouse or in the training to make it different, but it's working.
Well,
and they've got a split going into LA. They had a great game on Friday. They didn't do too well yesterday. Yamamoto was lights out. No one could have, nobody would have hit off of Yamamoto yesterday. I don't care what player you pull out of history, they would have struck out.
He was on fire. So
9 innings, 100 pitches, and the Jays did not get on base past the 4th inning. It was unreal.
So we go way back to April. April, when we're talking about baseball. Baseball starting up, we're talking about baseball. The Jays last year finished last place. Yeah. They got the 11th pick in the draft. Tim was very down on the Jays, how they're horrible. They aren't going to win nothing. They aren't doing anything. I had to defend them. Like I had to step up. We got clips where I'm defending the Jays, and I'm not a Jays fan. I'm a Dodgers fan. You see this? I'm a Dodgers fan, right? But I'm defending them to Tim to the point that I'm starting to like the team, right? and we go through the year, and the Jays take off, and they're just escalating. And come All-Star break, I'm cracking jokes that I can't wait for the fall, for them to fall, because
I kept waiting for it.
Tim's excited that they're winning. And I wanted to watch them lose it as they were falling. I wanted to trigger Tim.
All season they started winning, and I just said, I don't know what they're doing. I'm just going to enjoy it.
Yeah.
And they got into the playoffs, and I didn't really enjoy it too much during the Yankee series because I was pretty stressed out. And then it came to Game 6 back in Toronto against Seattle, and I just said, I don't know why I have no idea why they're here. I don't know what they did differently. I'm just going to enjoy the 2 games, and I did. It was a lights-out series against Seattle, one of the best baseball series I've ever seen, ever. Like, that was so good. And now they're against the powerhouse Yankees. Dodgers. Sorry, I'm a horrible unit. The Dodgers.
Yeah.
And, 92, 93, the Jays won the World Series. And they were built to win. Pat Gillick built that team starting in 1985. And he just kept, building and drafting and tweaking and trading. And he finally got it right in 92. 93 rolls around. Those guys knew what they had to do. It was all business. There was no big parties. There was no, swinging the jerseys after they win a game or anything. They won it. It was methodic. It was machine-like. Yeah. And that's what the Dodgers remind me of now.
Yes.
The Jays are playing on emotion. And they're not supposed to be there. Ernie Clement, Addison Barger, Nathan Lucas, Miles Straw all started the season in the minor leagues. Yasavage started lower A ball.
Lower A.
And he hung in. He didn't win the game on Friday, but he pitched. He kept them in it.
You could have saw him for $9 at the Canadians earlier this summer.
I mean, the kid was just lights out. Yeah. And it's just this hodgepodge of guys. This is where you need, like, the classic baseball writers. The Ring Lardner Juniors who can, spin a yarn and talk about this hodgepodge group of guys. Ernie Clement is putting together a Hall of Fame postseason.
Yeah.
He is getting hits after hit after hit. Yeah. And clutch, not just getting a single and being left on base. Base is loaded. He just cracks a single, run comes in, they take the lead. He's doing it. And I don't know, their pitching's really good. Their bullpen's been a lot better than I ever gave it credit for. But the clutch hitting is the difference. And their defense has always been good. You got
players with 20 hits and two or less strikeouts in the first 12 games of a single postseason. All of baseball, all of history.
Yeah.
20 plus hits and 2 or less strikeouts. Ernie Clement.
That's it.
End of list.
And he got drafted by Oakland. He bounced around to, I think, a couple of teams before the Jays picked him up on waivers. Just a minor league contract. And here he is, 29 years old. Yeah. And he's a candidate for Gold Glove. He's had a great season. He's had a great postseason.
It's a made-for-Disney movie.
It's a made-for-Disney movie. I don't know what to say. We got Mad Max coming in on the net. Game 3 would be Monday. I don't know what the date is. I don't know what's going to happen. He's Jekyll and Hyde. If he gets through those first 2 innings, we have a chance. If he doesn't, we don't. But Jays have to win either the first or second game.
Yeah.
Otherwise, they're going to be too deep in the hole, facing a Yamamoto for Game 5.
Possibly.
Yeah. It's conceivable. But, they led the league in comebacks. They had 3 comebacks, I think, against Seattle. They had a comeback on Friday against the Dodgers, and they can do it again.
So, and then on the flip side, you got the Dodgers, who have Tyler Glasnow, who's a Cy Young.
Yeah.
Right, and a great pitcher. And then Shohei Ohtani on Monday, Tuesday. And then the Dodgers will take a look at where are we sitting. Are we 2-2? Are we 3-1? Are we 1-3? Yeah. Right? And decide on the Wednesday pitcher. Whether it's Yamamoto to try and seal it if they're 3-1, or if it's Snell if they're 2-2 to take it back to have Yamamoto pitch in Game 6. It'll be a wait and see. But you look at the Jays and the proverbial turtle on a fence post.
Oh my God!
Nobody knows how they got there.
No.
Nobody knows what they're doing there, and everybody's curious what they're going to do next. That's really how the Jays are. And when you look at them, they're not a team that you would expect to be there. You've got these minor leaguers playing.
Yeah.
Right?
Lights out.
Scary ball. There's not a gap in the lineup that can't hurt you.
Any given game. And it's a different guy. And I'm going to interrupt you. 5 through 9 on their batting. Any of those guys could get a clutch hit.
Yeah.
So how do you defend against any one of those guys? And you take out one guy, you put in another guy, and he gets a grand slam.
Yeah.
Addison Barger, first ever pinch hit grand slam in the history of Major League Baseball for a World Series.
In the World Series.
Alejandro Kirk got a home run. He's the first Mexican-born player to get a home run in the World Series.
Yeah.
Which is really kind of exciting, considering he was just somebody found him by accident.
Yeah.
It's crazy. It's a machine against the sum of the parts that are just somehow making it work. And I don't know what they're doing, but it's working, and I'm kind of enjoying it. So keep doing what you're doing and keep winning.
And George Springer, you're leaving out George Springer.
Yeah, George boy.
Timely hits without anybody banging on a garbage can.
Poor you.
They already took the garbage cans out of the Dodgers visiting clubhouse.
Poor you, boo-boo.
I mean, and I do want to touch on it. I do want to touch on it because he's going to be booed in LA.
Oh yeah,
he gets booed a lot. He was part of the 2017 Houston Astros that were stealing signs in the scandal where they were video recording and banging on a garbage can, relaying and banging on a garbage can to send the signal of it's fastball, it's curve, it's whatever, right? He was part of that team that did it for not just the World Series, but the whole season prior and into the next season before someone caught on to them.
They got caught.
And they had to kind of wrap it up and say, okay, no more of that. So they're starting to ask questions, right? And when it all came down, the team, the players were given immunity if they threw the coaches under the bus.
Yeah, so Joey Cora got suspended for a season,
And they threw like they're trying to win a prize at the fair. Like they're like, there you go. Yeah, you know.
I'm not giving this ring back.
And you give the Jays credit because they gave him a second chance. And I'm all about second chances. Yeah. I am. I will joke about, someone when he hit that home run against the Mariners and someo's like, Springer Dinger, right?
Yeah, Springer Dinger.
I replied, cheater heater.
Oh.
Because I'll give him a hard time.
Yeah.
But I like the fact that they gave him a second chance in Toronto. A lot of the players from that team didn't get a second chance.
No.
Carl Spelltrend had to retire. Yeah. There's a lot of players.
Altuve's got that hanging over his head.
I think he's still in Houston. He either stayed in Houston or you don't really hear much from him except for Springer. But Springer is playing very well.
He is.
He is playing very well right now. He had that clutch hit against the Mariners. He had some timely hitting against the Dodgers so far. The Jays are a good team.
Yeah.
Now, people say to me, how can you talk nicely about the Jays? Right? I am a baseball fan. I live for this time of year. You have the two best teams in baseball squaring off.
Yeah.
I don't want a doormat.
It's a dream matchup.
Oh, I don't want a doormat. I don't want to watch 4-game sweep with the Dodgers just beating somebody down.
Yeah.
I want to see them get knocked down. I want to see them come back. I want to see them fight. I want to see their opponent fight. I want Game 7, 15th inning, 1-1, pitcher's duel, where they got no one left in the bullpen, and Kiki Hernandez is on the mound throwing the ball.
Yeah.
That's what I want to see.
Oh, yeah.
And that's what we're looking at right now.
Oh, yeah, that's what we're getting. And you're not going to hate the Jays for the single reason that they're no threat to the Dodgers.
No.
Right? I mean, if you're a Mets fan, you hate the Yankees.
Yes.
If you're a Yankees fan, you hate the Red Sox. If you're a Giants fan, you hate the Dodgers. But, Jays Dodgers, there's no rivalry there.
What I really like about the Jays
I hate Tampa Bay Rays because they own our ass.
Padres and the Giants,
right?
Not
like,
fan.
There's a reason
Not
for me
fan.
to dislike the Tampa Bay Rays.
Yeah.
But, for the Dodger fan, like I grew up an Expos fan.
Yeah.
And 81, Rick Monday, the shot heard around Montreal went through my heart with that home run in the ninth that sank the one and only chance to get to the World Series. But I've always had a lot of respect for the Dodgers. I love watching games at Dodger Stadium.
Yeah, beautiful
I love the
stadium.
history. As a Montreal Canadiens fan, I can appreciate the history of a franchise. I love the fact Tommy Lasorda coached there for 200 years. Fernando Valenzuela was just this fantastic find. Not really dissimilar to what Alejandro Kirk.
Yeah.
They just found him out in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, this guy's not your typical frame, but give him a chance. There's a lot of things to love about the Dodgers. Everybody likes a good movie. You watch a Dodger game, you got the celebrities out in the stands. Mary Hart and Burt Sugarman right behind home plate.
Yeah.
It's fun to watch. It makes it fun. And, people say they bought the World Series. You can argue that they've had the mega contracts for these mega players.
Yes.
But they still got there. I mean, the Mets payroll was $300 and some odd million bucks. They couldn't even make the playoffs.
Yeah.
Pete Alonso, the day after, the minute they got eliminated, is like, I'm out of here.
Yeah.
So they, and the Dodgers spent a lot of money at a lot of times before in the past and got nowhere.
Well,
right?
You go back to the Frank McCourt years.
Yeah, right.
The
they
team
spent
that
a
sold to
ton of
Frank
money.
McCourt, and they sold players to pay for their divorce.
Yeah,
it was crazy.
It was a joke, and they've got things
to take it away from them.
They got the team turned around. They're winning. Everybody likes it. It's exciting.
Yeah.
Every story needs a villain, and if you live a baseball fan in California, that's the Dodgers.
Yeah.
And it makes it passionate. And it makes it exciting.
Exactly.
So, and then all of a sudden, this ragtag team from Toronto shows up. You got Cito Gaston and Joe Carter throwing out the opening pitches. It's
32
fun.
years ago.
32 years ago, and they weren't supposed to be there. I don't understand how they got there. What happened this season opposed to last season? Because it's the same team, but I'm just loving it. I wanted to see them win one or two games at least early, coming up next week.
Yeah.
Either game 1 or game 2, so they don't go down to a 3-1 hole. and that will force a game 6.
Yeah.
And that goes back to Toronto, and anything can happen. And it's really, really fun to watch. And the fans in Toronto, it's a baseball town. It's a hockey town first.
Yeah.
But baseball's been there since 1979. They got the 2 championships. You know, they flirted with brilliance so many years between 85 and 92. And I was there for the whole time. And everyone loved the Jays. Addison Barcher hit that grand slam. Guys were hugging each other and crying in the stands.
Yeah,
they love
you look at in the 2000s so far, the Jays have come up a few times.
Yeah,
and hinted at either getting in the playoffs or in the first round of the playoffs and knocked out.
Yeah,
right. They've been on a trajectory.
Yeah,
and I think that you really got to look at it as they're bringing it together now with. You know, they're finding guys that want to come out and compete. That want to come out and fight. It's not ego. It's not about payroll. It's not about who's giving you your love or your props, whatever. Right? They want to come play baseball because they love baseball. And I'm going to call this the Taylor Swift effect forevermore going forward. But you know what the Jays in the playoff has done is it's brought people out watching baseball.
Oh yeah.
My wife, who would huff at me and turn the other way if I put a baseball game on the TV, watched Friday night's game.
Oh, yeah.
I wasn't home, and she watched Friday night's game. She was texting me updates. She is in love with the fact that Canada's team, she keeps referring to it, the Blue Jays, is in the playoffs.
Yeah.
People in Canada are in love with the fact that a team from Canada and a team from California are in the World Series for Donald Trump's favorite sport.
There you go. And just California, Canada, they have equal populations.
Yeah.
Bring up that Ernie Clement stat, just to give you an idea of a guy that started in the minor leagues and what he's doing in the postseason right now.
Players with 20 hits and 2 or less strikeouts in the first 12 games of a single postseason. Here's the list that have 20 hits and 2 or less strikeouts. Ernie Clement.
That's it.
End of list.
Yeah.
End of list.
Lori watched the game.
Watched the game.
I was down in Oakland. I got to see the game 7 in Oakland. I drove up. I got home Friday afternoon around 3:30. My wife comes home. My daughter. We have 2 TVs. One's in the living room and one's down in sort of, we'll call it the family room. No one cares. Anyway, whatever. 2 TVs. So I was just watching the game at the other end of the house. Yeah. And Lucy's in the living room, and whatever. I don't care. I'll watch it anywhere. I'm watching the game. Barb comes home. Hey, Lucy, turn the TV off. Go to the baseball game. I want to watch it. You got to go down the hallway. This is my wife telling my daughter, get the hell out. I mean, like, okay, sure. It's very, very exciting. I don't know what's going to happen. At the end of the season, we're going to have a conversation about what the Jays do.
Yeah. Because
they have 2 or 3 pitchers this is it, that they're into their contracts. And 2 of them are 34 and 35 years old, respectively. If they have to go and get a couple of superstar arms, it's easy to do when you've made it to a World Series.
Yep.
Conceivably won. But we'll see. Right now, I'm just living in the moment. It's so exciting. They weren't supposed to be here. They weren't supposed to win the best record in the league, and yet they have. And I'm having a lot of fun.
So I want to point out 2 things here. People like to talk about the Dodgers' salaries. And the payroll of the Dodgers, right?
Yep.
I want to point out that the Dodgers have the highest revenue. In the Major League Baseball, they also have the highest payroll in the Major League Baseball.
Yeah.
Right. They commit 73% of their revenue to their payroll.
Exactly.
Right. The Blue Jays are number 5 in payroll. Number 5 in payroll. They commit 71% of their payroll, of their revenue to their payroll. There is success when you reinvest in your team.
Yeah, but you got to be smart about it because, again, we go back to the Mets.
Yeah.
And the Yankees, right?
The Mets reinvested 93% of their revenue into their payroll and still ended up where they are. Ooh. But here's you're looking at 2 teams that realize that you need a couple of key pieces, good pitching, couple of key pieces on the plates, and then you need baseball players. Yeah. You need the Kiki Hernandez, the Addison Bargers. You need the Max Muncies,
the Ernie Clements,
and the Ernie Clements. Yeah. You need baseball players. You need guys that are hungry, that want to come and do it, and that are going to commit to what the team's doing to move forward. You don't need a bunch of big salaries and fancy necklaces and entourages. You need team commitment.
Yeah.
Ernie Clement yesterday going to the game, walking in a pair of jeans, his hoodie, and a backpack through the crowd around the outside of the stadium, fist bumping people. He looked like he was a line cook going to a shift or a college student going to a class.
Oh yeah, he looked like he was going to a poli-sci class. Because he's at the sort of the concretey part of Rogers Center.
Yeah.
And I showed it to a friend of mine, daughter Lauren, who's just wonderful and huge baseball fan. And she's like, I've seen guys like this at SFU.
Yeah.
Like he just looked like he's wearing a backpack and his jeans, and he's walking through, and people are like, oh, Ernie, and he's fist pump. Hand comes up, doesn't stop, sign autographs, and hug everybody, get pictures done because he's locked in. But he just wandered through, like you said, no chains, no entourage.
No.
And sometimes you need that. Sometimes you need that. You need the Magic Johnson with Mike Tyson and everybody in fur coats.
Yeah.
You need that for depending on the franchise, depending on what's going on. The Joe Namath poolside.
Yeah.
Events against the Johnny Unitas, farm boy thing. You sort of need a bit of glam and flash to make it fun. Championships are won. You have the superstars, right, and you pay the Guerreros and the Otanis and all guys big dough, but they're won by the guys in the trenches. Like in the Dodgers, you got Max Muncy. You've got Will Smith.
Yep.
You've got Kiki Hernandez.
Yep.
Even Pages, who's not having a great season on the bat,
right.
but he's great in the field. Defensively.
Yep.
That's how you win championships. And both teams have those guys in droves.
100%.
And that's why they're there, right? I mean, these teams have tried to buy championships, and it rarely, if ever, works. It happened once. I think the Florida Marlins had a crazy payroll, won it, dumped it, and they haven't been anywhere near the conversation since. And it just blows.
And there's teams that have done well that have only reinvested like 50% of their revenue back in their payroll. Small market teams. And Milwaukee Brewers is one of them, right? They're down there. Phillies are kind of like in the 60 range. But the success is about 70%.
Yeah.
You want to generate money that you can expand your stadiums, and increase your show. But at the same time, the show is the players.
Yeah.
So the money that you bring in's got to go back in somewhere. Now these young guys, you've got Vladdy's paid.
Yeah.
You got to pay Bo.
Yeah.
Right.
You got to pay Bo. Yeah.
And you're going to have the money to. Your revenue is going to be at the point this year that you can. You got to play Bo. These young guys they're going to get a little bit, but they're minor leaguers last year.
Yeah.
Right. They got to prove a full season of what they can do. So they're going to get a little bit. Right. They now have money. The Jays will have money to reinvest in some starting pitching.
Yeah.
Because you're going to lose Scherzer. You're going to lose
Gosman, probably Bassett.
Yeah.
They're 34 and 35 years old. I don't know what they're going to do. They might sign on for one more year. How many more years can these guys play?
Yeah.
That's after the series over. You have that conversation.
We'll talk about it next Sunday.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. Because, anyway, you cut it. Saturday's the last game.
Yeah, that's true.
Saturday's the last game. So next week we are going to crown a champion here.
Yeah.
It's going to be my Dodgers or it's going to be his Blue Jays, right? And that's going to be excellent.
Roll the dice.
Roll the dice. And that's what you want to see. And that's where we are right now. And I think people don't get that, is that I was okay with the Dodgers losing on Friday night. I said it at the beginning. I said if the Dodgers come in as the powerhouse juggernaut that they are, and they could roll through this, no problem.
Yeah.
They could, because they are. But if the Jays can stay in it, wait for a stumble, and if the Dodgers stumble, kick the door open and kick them while they're down. That's what the Jays have to do. And that's what they did Friday night. Blake Snell loaded the bases, got in a bit of trouble. They brought in a pitcher. Now, this makes me sad, is that the Dodgers are without Alex Vesia.
Yeah.
Alex Vesia is their best middle reliever. He was the guy that would have come in that situation and got the Dodgers out of that, right? He had to leave the team Friday morning for personal reasons.
Yeah, his wife's pregnant, and there's an issue. There could be an issue with the baby, and
we heard personal reasons. We speculate. The wife put up a cryptic post about Heavenly Father and pray for us, and so you don't want to read too much into it. But I'm really praying for them, and my thoughts go to the Vesia family, because he would have been the guy that came in there.
Yeah.
And it could have turned out really different. Instead, they had to bring in Emmett Sheehan, and he's a young guy with not a lot of experience.
He was quaking in his boots.
Gave up one run, and then gave up the grand slam, and then gave up another home run to Kirk. No, not him. They pulled him for Banda at that point.
Yeah, what happens, the bases were loaded. Ernie Clement got the single.
Yeah.
George Springer hit into a ground out ball, but it kept the bases loaded because he got on in a fielder's choice. Mm-hmm. Then he walked in a run.
Yeah.
And then I think they pulled him, and then the grand slam happened. And the wheels just came off.
The wheels came off.
But whatever, they lost a game. Who cares? If you lose a game 2-1 or 11-0, who cares? It's a split going back to LA.
But that's what Blue Jays have to do.
Yeah.
Is they have to wait for there to be a stumble and then take advantage of it.
Right.
Right? And they have to stay in the game. And they're pitching.
Gosman?
No, first one. Savage. Kept him in it long enough. They got into their bullpen. They maintained. Then they got that big break. They could breathe a little bit, right? Now, you go to last night's game, Yamamoto wasn't having any of it.
Oh, he was incredible.
And Wayne, do we have that picture I sent you earlier today?
Yamamoto, 9 innings, 100 pitches. That's like, you just don't see that.
On the mound, but when he was off the mound, he was cleaning the garbage in the dugout. Yeah. He was picking up garbage in the dugout.
Japanese athletes, baseball players and athletes, they'll finish a tournament somewhere, and the kids will go into the stands and they will clean up the garbage.
Yeah.
They are expected to do that. That is Japanese culture, and that's when they're on the road.
Yeah.
So they're a guest in somebody's house, they clean up. And Sasaki was doing it, and Yamamoto's doing it, and it's just a really, really classy move. You're not going to hate the Dodgers.
No.
They're not a team you hate. I mean, you're an Angels fan, you're a Giants fan, you're a San Diego fan, sure. But, if you're a Jays fan, you're not going to hate the Dodgers.
Yeah.
Like, why?
Yeah, exactly.
Like, there's no reason to hate. You're going to hate the Red Sox. You're going to hate the Tampa Bay Rays because they knock you out all the time.
Yeah.
You're going to hate the Yankees because they're in the same division. But you're not going to hate the Dodgers, for God's sakes. I mean, 92-93 went against Atlanta and against Philly. It was exciting. I was cheering for my team, but I wasn't booing them.
Yeah.
But there's a bit of a rivalry though, because the Jays did try and sign Ohtani and Yamamoto, and it's created a little bit of a chanting, "We don't need you." They didn't say that against Yamamoto on Saturday
because they could have used him.
They could have used him, but it's just that kind of rivalry makes it kind of fun.
I got to talk about the Ohtani effect. The Ohtani effect is very prevalent in this series right now already. Is they are so focused on Ohtani that they forget that Mookie Betts is an MVP. Freddie Freeman's an MVP. Teoscar Hernandez has a home run derby championship. Yeah. Max Muncy hits for power.
Yeah.
Right?
But they've kept them off, though. Mookie Betts hasn't done much.
No.
They've kept Yamamoto off. They kept Mookie Betts off.
Freeman off, yeah.
Freeman off. So but again, it's the 7, 8, 9 guys that they're hurting.
But Ohtani everything's focused on Ohtani, and you're going to be looking here, and we're going to be coming back this way.
I mean, the media's focused on Ohtani. The fans are focused on
Ohtani. The teams. I get
yeah. I mean, the Jays it's a balanced attack, 1 through 9. Same with the Dodgers. So they're going to be focused on Bo Bichette and Vladdy Guerrero. Yeah. And then Ernie Clement comes along, and Miles Straw comes along and gets that pinch hit.
Yeah.
IKF gets a pinch hit, and
it's the 5 through 9s.
Yeah.
You got to put ducks on the pond.
Yeah.
Right.
So,
but it's funny.
Hopefully, it's a good series. I'm really hoping Toronto wins Game 3. I don't mind if they lose Game 4. I hope they win Game 5 and bring it back to Toronto, and it creates more drama in Toronto and just a dogfight. Like, if we can get anything close to that Seattle series,
I know, right?
I'll be super happy.
So
It was so exciting.
I like it, the Ohtani, they're chanting, "We don't need you."
Yeah.
And he looks to his translator, and he's like, "Don't worry about it. They love you." Thank you.
Well, you know what? Honestly, he's a classy guy.
He is.
And God love Toronto for trying.
Yeah.
Because a lot of teams didn't even bother.
100%.
Yeah,
they made the effort.
And, the Japanese players are going to go to L.A. It's a bit of a no-brainer.
Yeah.
When you're playing with the most popular baseball team in the world right now,
you're
just going to sell that many more jerseys. It's a business decision. It's a culture decision.
That $700 million contract, they made it back within like a year and a half.
Yeah, that's why you go after... People wonder why they offer these massive contracts and bonuses to Japanese baseball players. They make it back in apparel sales.
In a year.
Yeah, and also you get, you go... you want to see your player play, your favorite guy, and they subscribe to the online thing to watch the games online. Yeah. So it's it's a business thing, and if I was a free agent or as some real hotshot free agent coming out of Japan or wherever, I would go with the team that was going to give me the highest profile. Yeah. You know what I mean? I would honor and respect for a team like Toronto. Yeah. But if the Yankees or the Dodgers were going to offer me, the same money or even a little less, I can take it because I'm going to make that much more money when they sell my jerseys. Yeah. It's a business thing. It's not, he didn't hate Toronto or have a thing against Toronto. He made a business decision and went with the Jays.
He actually had very high things to say about Toronto, the club, the people, the whole 9 yards. And it was down to Toronto and Los Angeles. Yeah. And I mean, when you really look at it, Los Angeles offers him a lot more opportunities.
Yeah, exactly.
And I hate saying it because I think Toronto it offers a lot of opportunity in its own. Yeah. Canada's fabulous. Yeah. But the Dodgers out Los Angeles. Yeah. And he's closer to Japan. Yeah. It's 5 hours off. It's 5 hours off his flight home. Yeah, yeah. So let's just say good luck. Yep. We're going to talk next Sunday.
Someone will be crying, someone will be laughing.
It'll be the day after Game 7 if we get there. And I'm hoping that we'll both be super tired because that game went to midnight.
Oh, yeah.
I want to get as much baseball out of these two as I can this year. I love it. Okay. So let's touch on a couple of quick things. In the CFL, Canadian Football League, the BC Lions are going to host the West semifinals next Saturday.
Nice.
Here in downtown Vancouver. In the CJFL, the Canadian Junior Football League, where our Valley Huskers play, the
Okanagan Sun?
Okanagan, Oklahoma. Yeah. Okanagan Sun made one.
And do I have to go under my desk?
They're going to the national championship against the winner of the Prairie Conference. So they beat the Ontario Football Conference champions, St. Catharines. St. Clair College Saints.
From Windsor, Ontario.
And they're going to go in to play whoever wins out of the Saskatoon Hilltops and the Regina Thunder that's being played at 1 p.m. today.
At Mosaic
Stadium.
That's exciting.
So two really good teams there. So the Sun are going to go back and do that again. And the last point that we want to throw out there is the VCFL, the Valley Community Football League. Finals will be on BBN on November 15th, so on this channel, being hosted by yours truly, Tim Amy, Mad Macri, where they make us stay on topic. I'm sorry.
Yeah, we have to pay attention.
They text us and get mad when we wander off. So
at least we know people are listening.
Yeah,
right? You mentioned baseball. Hey, my baseball team, and the text come up. Stop talking about baseball. I'm like, all right, well, you're paying attention, so okay.
Yeah. Sorry, Grandma.
Man. Okay. That wraps it up. Like, subscribe, comment. Anything you want to tell us that we're really good looking or not good looking, whatever. I'm babbling. It's been a long day. Okay. Thank you for tuning in for Off Topic with Tim and Matt, where we always go
off topic. Go Dodgers!